So what are we talking about this week? Dyskinesia, one of my least favorite topics. Stay tuned. What's up, YouTube? It's this guy, Jeremy McDonald. Let me hear you say it. One of your very favorite people with Parkinson's. Of course, that's Jeremy, also known as J Mac, Jeremy Mac. Let's do this thing. All right, here we are again, folks. Won't you be my neighbor? All right, I've been really putting this conversation off. Dyskinesia. I'm going to talk about it. I guess there's part of me that feels like if I don't talk about it, it doesn't exist. But in fact, it does exist. At least for me, and I don't know. It's progressively gotten worse. It started in my legs. It's kind of moved around. First of all, let's get into what dyskinesia is. Okay, it's usually associated with long-term Sinemet or L-Dopa use. It's uncontrollable movements. I mean, I guess you could call it the Michael J. Fox effect. The kind of inability to stay still even while talking. A lot of times when you're dyskinetic, if you stop talking, it can settle your whole body down. I don't know why that is, but not everybody gets it. Not everybody gets it, but mine started, like I said, in my legs. It was like kind of abnormal movements. I would tell my leg to go forward and it would go sideways, and that is a really difficult way to walk. Why does it happen? This is where, if anybody tells you they know for sure, they're lying, because nobody really knows and not everybody gets it. I've known people with Parkinson's for longer than me that, at least as far as when I've been around them, I've seen them, no dyskinesia. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't have it sometimes, but some people get it really severe. I've seen cases where people just literally, they're either completely immobile or they're flailing all over the place, which is why I picked out David Bowie's Let's Dance. It kind of reminds you of an uncoordinated dance. And I think it's appropriate that he's got his boxing gloves on there because it's a fight. Let me tell you, it's a fight. You're fighting with your body. But nobody really knows why we get it, and not everybody gets it, like I said. If I had to guess, I just feel like the longer you're sick, the more dysfunctional your brain gets. And I feel like the medicine, when at first it really works effectively, the longer you're ill, I don't think it's that the medicine isn't as effective. I think your brain just doesn't absorb it as well, or it's not able to convert the L-Dopa into dopamine and spread it out evenly. That's my explanation for it. When do you get it? That's a question nobody can really answer. I had severe, after about 2 years, my legs were not so much wiggly, but I couldn't control their movement. It was more like I had loss of precise control of my legs, which is not good. Some people get it really early on. I've heard cases of 6 months. Other people go for years without getting it. And this is the thing. I was terrified of getting dyskinesia when I was first diagnosed, because to me, in my mind, the worst possible thing that could happen is not being able to control my limbs. Well, I already couldn't really control my limbs and my fingers, but it was like slow. I was slow and stiff and just not on. But the idea that I could take a pill that would make me unable to stop moving terrified me. And so I probably missed a lot of good on time when I first got diagnosed because I was afraid to take the pill. There's research, and I'll put a link to a video in the description where Jennifer Sullivan of the Wiggles Project, she's got a very good video about it. She'll do a much better job of explaining the efficacy or lack thereof, if there is such a thing, of long-term levodopa use. But there's really no guidebook. And nobody can tell you when, how, or even if. It's just nobody knows. Where do you get it? I got it more severe in my legs, although it does happen in my shoulders and my arms. It's just everybody's different. That's why this disease is just so damn unpredictable. And I've heard it said a million times, if you know one person with Parkinson's, you know one person with Parkinson's. It's so different for everybody, which makes it incredibly difficult to treat. Let's go through the treatment options. Medications, I take something called amantadine or amantadine. It's a little red pill. Does it work? Hell, I don't know. I mean, when I don't take it, do I notice a difference? Maybe a slight difference, but it like smooths out the off periods. And this is I guess, let me back up a little bit. When does it happen? As far as the dose goes, we know nobody can predict when it will happen. Sometimes people, when it's kicking in, they get it real bad. Like in the morning, I have to go in the other room because when I take my Cinemet, it just, I literally, I just kind of go into like, it's a little seizure. I mean, I'm conscious, but it looks like a seizure. Now, once I'm on it during the day, I don't really have too much of the severe dyskinesia, although as it drops and falls, as the levels drop and fall in your brain, you'll notice fluctuations. Like right now, I'm pretty even because I'm kind of in between doses, and so it's kind of leveled out. It'll peak later, and then I'll be wiggly. It's a lot of it is timing. My neurologist or my MDS basically told me, experiment, divide your pills in half, 3/4, quarter, try hour and a half. Find that level as level as you can, and for everybody it'll be different. I know people that have to take tremendous amount of Cinemet to get an effect. I can take a half a pill and it'll last an hour and a half, and I still get dyskinesia. And this is one of the things that I was a little bit frustrated with when I asked my MDS. I said, can you get dyskinesia on half a pill? He said, no. Well, that's not right, because I do get it. I'll take a half pill, and then sometimes I just literally have to sit on my legs, and they cramp and twist, and very uncomfortable. Oh, so medications. Amantadine, I think, is the only one that I know of. There's an extended release. I forget what it's called. That it's very expensive. That supposedly helps your levels go up. I know they've been talking for years about medications in the pipeline. I don't know of anything that's getting ready to happen. I could be wrong. I kind of stay up on the industry, but when I first got diagnosed, I watched it every day, like hoping something would come along. Not really. Other treatments. DBS, we talked with Julie about that. It's been very effective for her in controlling dyskinesia. And then focused ultrasound, where they shoot, basically, I think they burn out the mutated cells in your brain, and I guess it controls dyskinesia, but these options are not something, at least at the moment, that I'm willing to do. It's a tricky bastard. I'm not gonna lie. This disease, every day it throws a new monkey wrench at you. There'll be days where I have very little dyskinesia, other than maybe the kicking in part. I'm able to sit comfortably for long periods of time. There's other times, like yesterday, I went out on the porch. My legs would not stop moving, and I was on a porch swing. Not a good combination. And I mean, the neighbors could probably see my legs swinging around. What's this dude doing? Is he on crack? No, it's dyskinesia. And I got up, and I was so unsteady, I almost fell into the flower garden. Just because my legs it's the weirdest thing in the world. Until you have it happen, it's hard to explain how your body moves when you don't tell it to. The only thing I can really say here is it's none of your business what other people think about you. Is if you're safe, or if you're feeling safe as far as not falling, but you're wiggly, and maybe you're at a store, maybe get some looks. Hate to tell you, you're gonna have to live with it. I got some looks when I was still able to walk, hobble around when my legs would go all like spastic. Hate to use that word, but that's basically what it was, and I just had to get over it. You can't get all butthurt about it. I mean, I guess you can, but it'll stop you from doing things. I remember when I went to my new MDS, when the guy checked me in, I was very dyskinetic. 5 minutes later, the MDS came in, and she said, you were just dyskinetic a few minutes ago. I was like, yeah. She's like, what happened? I was like, my pill dropped. My medication dropped, and I had to take a pill really quick, and it started to wear off, and then I kind of started to lock up. I've said this so many times, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. To not be able to do the things we used to do. I used to skateboard, ride motorcycles, play in a band. Rock and roll! Yeah, that was me, but no, not now. I can barely walk down the stairs. And I mean, I guess the words of hope that I would give are just continue to hope for new advancements. Talk to your MDS. Always talk to your MDS about maybe titrating your medicine throughout the day. There is something, I think it's getting ready to be approved. It's a patch with a pump that gives you a continuous infusion of levodopa into your bloodstream. That may help some of the ups and downs. The brain is a complicated thing, and I wish I had some good answers for you. That's why I didn't want to talk about this. This is my least favorite subject to talk about because, frankly, it's more embarrassing than the shaking and the mental fog. Not being able to sit still. I mean, if I shake, that can be irritating, but it requires less explanation, or it's kind of self-evident to people who see you shaking. Parkinson's. When you get all crazy dyskinetic, just gotta put your like the horse, the blinders on, and don't look at the people around you. Maybe you could get an armband that says Parkinson's in case there's a medical emergency. That could be something. I like wearing shirts that say, I like David Gebhardt's got one, Life with Parkinson's. You just gotta wear it so people are like, oh, okay. There you go. Why don't you guys give me some of your experiences with dyskinesia? Is there any exercise or any therapy that maybe yoga, that has helped reduce the symptoms? I love hearing from you guys. By the way, I'd like to give a shout out to my buddy Mark in Australia. Had a good conversation with him. Really cool guy. That's all this guy has. Until next time, peace and love from the currently gloomy city of St. Louis.